Welcome to the Miracle You, guiding you on the journey towards finding passion and purpose and how to discover, create, and live a life by your design. Whether your success has been plentiful or your missed opportunities have been overwhelming, we can help you become a more empowered, masterful person and show you how to share your gift with the world. It's time to inspire change from within with the host of the Miracle You, Vince Kramer.
Hello, imagination. I'm Vince Kramer, your host, and welcome to the Miracle You, where you learn about the magic of living your life by finding the example in real life.
We are magnificent beings on earth to experience happiness, joy, to grow and expand, to shine our light out into the world. So many of the things that we've created or co-created have diminished that light, or at least hid it from the world. We have that brilliance that's still waiting to shine out fully. And as we shed those things that are holding us back, keeping us from being all that we are meant to be, keeping us hidden from the rest of the world, we'll be able to shine that light out brightly and make a difference to so many people. And in making a difference to others, we will find and love ourselves fully. I'm with Michele Blood today. Michele is a successful, multi-talented lady. She was a rock star singer in Australia, and after a near-fatal car accident, she created positive affirmation songs, which not only healed her body, but also took her to worldwide success. Michele has co-written and created over 80 books, musical CDs, audio programs, TV shows, and videos on positive thought, mind transformation, and meditation. She also has shared the stage and worked with Bob Proctor, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Jack Canfield, and many other transformational authors and teachers. Michele Blood, are you ready to share the miracle of you with the imagination?
I am, Vince. Hello, everyone. Lovely to be here with you.
It's so great to have you, Michele. And as I was saying before we started recording, I want to be you when I grow up. It's so amazing what you've done in the world and the difference that you've made. Before we dig into some specifics about you and your wake-up call, tell us a little bit more about what you're doing right now.
Well, what I'm doing right now is I have something called the Mystical Experience, and I have students from all over the world that I teach deeper mysticism, meditation, positive thinking. If people from all walks of life come on these big Zooms that we do, got a huge screen in front of me, and I'm not going out live until next year, but I love doing the Zooms. And I'm also always writing new books, recording new things, new songs. And so I'm always absolutely have a full schedule that I adore. And I love to be able to assist anyone, whether they're anyone who's suffering in any area of their life. For example, it may be about money. So I will teach people, if it's just about finances, how to manifest, how it really works. Because if you could see where I am now, you'll be like, oh yeah, she can manifest. Well, God through me can. And what we can do to get out of the way for good to come into our lives. And so, and then there's many, many simple tools. I always say KISS, keep it simple and spiritual. And then there are people that want to go deeper. They want to learn meditation. They want to learn about an awakening. How can you become awakened, enlightened? And so I go through all different stages of evolution with different people. And my students are in over 32 countries. And it's, most of them stay with me forever. I mean, I've got one student I've had 20 years. It's like, so they're just growing and growing, and their life improves so much. They want to keep doing it because I transmit light and do prayers for them. I love to pray for others. I love to see miracles happen in people's lives every day. That's my mission every day, to see a miracle happen in someone's life. And to me, a miracle is something someone didn't believe could possibly happen, and it does. And that brings them more confidence with their faith. It gives them faith. So I think it's really important that I see that people Oh my goodness, that really works. She prayed for something for me. I just had to do a little bit of this and that. And now I've got this thing that I wanted, whether it's a new job or whatever it was. And it's just, I just get out of the way and just be a conduit for the light to come through me. But I do love to pray. I think prayer is something people really don't know how to do properly. So I like to teach them how to actually pray, not beg.
So many awesome things you shared in just that little bit of description of who you are and what you do. We could probably take hours to talk about all those things, but let's start with what what was the wake up call for you that really helped you understand, first of all, that you had this gift and that this is why you're here? What was that wake up call?
Yeah, it's very, very unique. I was coming home from a gig, 12-hour drive with the truck driver. And because Australia is huge and the gigs are just miles in between. And so it was 12. I just got off stage, got straight into the truck, and we drove 12 hours. The truck driver, he fell asleep at the wheel. I've been on stage for 6 hours that night up in Queensland, and we drove to Sydney, and he fell asleep. I was like, why did he fall asleep? He wasn't on stage all night. Anyway, he fell asleep. And as it went into a pole and the truck and the musical equipment went into me. Now, I've been singing professionally since I was a kid. I was on TV as a kid. And I had what would look to the outside world like an incredible life. I was touring at one stage nonstop for 7 years. We had big audiences. I even toured with huge bands when they came to Australia. We would be their, the first act. We did with the Pretenders, with Georgia Sattler. I mean, huge bands. And we had our records out and CDs and our videos. And I'd worked so hard to get there. So I was just at that precipice of record companies interested in us for overseas as well as Australia. And when the car accident happened. So you would think that that would be the worst thing that happened to me. However, it was the best thing that happened to me, Vince, because when I was in that hospital bed, not knowing if I would live or die, they kept, saying to, what was she brought up? Catholic. Well, I'm not a Catholic anymore, but would we get her a priest or whatever? And I was just cracking jokes the entire time, apparently. But I was in that hospital for months and months and months. And while I was in that hospital, that is when what changed my trajectory, my life, my mission, everything happened when I created something that had never been created before, affirmations with pop music. I'm a singer-songwriter. So I created that I had a huge satori, if people don't know what that is, it's beyond an aha moment. It's like you get downloaded something and you're told, your spirit tells you, if you do this, you can be healed. And so I followed that advice and I went on to record these amazing affirmation songs. It healed my body. No one had ever done it with pop music before. And I did not do it for other people to ever listen to them, to the songs, because they were pretty simple. It wasn't like a heavier type of rock and roll, because the way I used to record was multi tracks, just simple little pop songs with the affirmation for people to listen to over and over again. And so that is when people came out of the woodwork and wanted to know about this music and how I got to meet all these incredible people and ended up working with Bob Proctor for 7 years, 8 years, really. We did many books and products together and huge events globally. I ended up running his entire business for him from Kuala Lumpur. So it's pretty unique story.
It certainly is. And you're a perfect example of, our gifts and our talents coming in to really make the difference and having a wake-up call, something to get your attention to say, oh, Michele, this is the direction that you're meant to go. This is how you can affect so many people. Not that you wouldn't have affected hundreds of thousands of people as a rock singer, but what you're doing now is so powerful for helping them find themselves. You shared a couple things earlier, Michele, that I would really love to tap into. First of all, what is your definition of mysticism?
Mysticism is connecting with your higher self, deeply connecting in the moment, in deep meditation, because the reason we're here is to become awakened, to become enlightened. And not many people do, because it takes a lot of effort. I got off the grid for 10 years of my life to study with an enlightened teacher. I didn't do any events, nothing. I just studied mysticism and did deep meditation. I went with her anywhere she would say to turn up. We're going to Egypt next week. I would just turn up. So I was serious about wanting to connect with my higher self, truly have that oneness, no duality. And so mysticism is connecting with your higher self as one and really getting to experience what your higher self is, that spirit within you that creates the miracles in our lives and that does go before us and prepares the way. So I was longing to find someone who knew God. And I looked for 14 years to find an enlightened teacher, and I finally found one, which is why I said to myself, she's agreed to teach me. So I am going to stop everything and just do this. I don't want to be, I took everything off Facebook. I did everything to get myself off anywhere so I could just focus on that. And it was worth it.
Isn't that so true? And I love that you shared that it's a journey and not necessarily an easy journey to make that connection with your higher self. So many believe, well, if I read this book or if I meditate for 15 minutes, that I'm going to make that connection. And there's so much duality in our programming that it does take a while for that to all to happen. So as then you began to tap in, learn more, be more of who you are, you're already providing the world with ways to help them heal themselves and to step more into who they are. Where did the manifestation understanding come in for you? Because go ahead. Because you said that how it really works. And I would love for you to share about manifestation and how it works.
Yeah, I love doing workshops about this because people's eyes are just wide open. They're like, oh my goodness. I mean, they talk about the secret, but the secret was taught by the Buddha 2,500 years ago. You are what you think. You know, everything you are arises with your thoughts. However, a better question is, why doesn't it work for some people? They listen to some books, they law of attraction, they go to an event, they watch The Secret, and they little things start appearing in their lives. And then, but not everything that they want comes into their life. And some people don't even get anything that they're doing, practice for. And this is a really, really simple way for everyone to understand it. Let's look at this diamond. Let's look at your higher self as a diamond. Now, your higher self is spirit. It is pure divine. And that is what animates every cell of our being. Every cell of our being is this beautiful higher self that is connected with the divine. Without this, you wouldn't breathe, you wouldn't live. So you're never alone, because this omnipotent, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent holy light is this diamond. So what happens when you're born? You get all these emotional things that happen from the moment you're born. You start watching people, your parents, different things start getting stuck on your diamond. And so when the diamond is cleared of all the emotional stuff that you've been through, and that's even positive emotions, you still get a line of attention, so to speak, to that thing in the past. So whenever you are thinking in the past or in the future, you're not in this moment. You've got to be in the timelessness, because there isn't any time. That's an illusion that man has created. There is no time. It's just a practical thing. So an enlightened teacher can transmit light to you, which can melt away all those little things that are stuck to your diamond. And when there's all these experiences stuck to your diamond, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I can't stand that person, I hate you, you broke my heart, I'm broke again, what am I going to do? You keep getting more and more things stuck to your diamond, because your diamond can create any miracle. That's your higher self. So for you to be able to do an affirmation, speak to that diamond, it's sort of like stuck like in a sticky cobweb because it can do anything because it is your higher self. So all those things from the ego that have coated your soul, so to speak, need to be cleansed. Once that's cleansed, then you have a new perspective, a new heart glow. You feel things you've never felt before. You don't feel like you're judging anymore. You know, if you just let go and let God, you are open and receptive. You love people. You love the diamond within them because this diamond is the same as everyone else's diamond. That enlightenment is the truth for us. So when an enlightened teacher, because you've got to have that cleanse before you can become completely enlightened. When an enlightened teacher sends that light, it literally melts away all of that stuff. So having an enlightened teacher assisted me so much as she transmitted light. And that's what I do today because I did have an awakening during those 10 years. And that's why she quit teaching and now I've taken over, so to speak. And that's how a lineage ends up working.
So when you say that you stepped into the enlightening, what does it mean to be enlightened? Could you give a definition so people who are listening can understand that?
Yes, enlightenment is very rare, but if everyone has the opportunity to do it, we have at the base of our spine, we have what's called Kundalini or Shakti, and along the spine is an ethereal tube that is directly with your spine, but it's called the Sushumna, and it's blocked. Everyone's Sushumna is blocked, and the Kundalini has to come up and cleanse all of that. It's like Shakti or Kundalini is like when you get to actually experience it and see it, it's vibrating bubbles of light. It's just vibrating, scrubbing clean. And it eventually comes up the more you focus on your meditation and your chakra meditation, and a teacher is sending you light, that eventually scrubs clean the chakras. And then those chakras are their energy, their doorways to different areas of the dimensions, of the divine dimensions. And eventually, if you're blessed enough and you've worked hard enough and you've become pure enough within yourself, the crown chakra ends up at last being ignited. And because before that, I went through Stargate experiences, incredible samadhi meditations, and then I would always have this flash, and I would keep meditating all night until I had another flash. I went through another Stargate, and I went through intense experiences until eventually my crown chakra, it just, you're in the light. You are no longer in ego. You don't judge. You're in the moment, in every moment. And the vibration, the waves of ecstasy. And you know things then that you could not have possibly known, that you've never studied. The things that come out of my mouth sometimes at these events, I say, wow, that was interesting. I didn't know that. And the main thing that is the most extraordinary thing about enlightenment is fear, or as you say in America, fear, is completely released from your consciousness. You no longer have any fear whatsoever because you don't think in the past, you don't project into the future. Your thoughts have stopped. And what comes through is irreverent fun as well. My students are cracking up at me all the time. One of my students, I don't know why he did that, but yesterday when we did our Zoom, he said, outrageously irreverent. He actually tattooed it on his wrist to remind him of me. Outrageously irreverent. Anyway, so fear is gone, and the love that you feel for this world and for other people and the things that you can do. You don't get tired. You feel great all the time. I'm 65 and I'm doing fantastic. And your body's healthy. Your heart rate is very, very slow. So your immunization, you're more immune than anyone else because you're not living where things can be caught. You're living in a different dimension. You're sort of like your toes in the water, but your head's in the divine dimension. You're living in both. And you can know things for people, not like a psychic, not stuff like that. It just comes directly through you that can help heal and calm, and it's like a spiritual hug for people, and it's just extraordinary. And everyone has the ability to do it, but to want to do it takes a lot. But I had been enlightened in a past life, and I didn't realize it until I was enlightened. I didn't remember that. So if you have been enlightened in a past life, it doesn't make it your duty to, there's something within you that will be always pulled towards the light. I mean, even as a little girl, I was brought up Catholic. I lived in the countryside in the Blue Mountains, and I would go to mass every morning with the nuns. I just had an intense love for Jesus, and because that was the only enlightened person I knew of. So a bit longer than you may have wanted, not short and sweet like me. I'm short and sweet.
You shared with us that everybody can become enlightened. What would you tell the people who disagree with that, that say there's no way I can get to that point?
Oh, I would just say whatever you believe will be true for you. If you don't believe it, you don't believe it. But the thing is, I never did it to become enlightened. I didn't think, guys, for a moment that this little rock singer from Australia would become enlightened. I was just in love with the divine. I had this heart glow, and I knew I wanted to find someone who knew God, that could answer questions that were just running through my mind. What does this mean? What is that? What is this experience? I loved to meditate before I even met her. I loved that feeling of oneness. So I did not expect to become enlightened at all. I just wanted to have that union and to live that sort of a life where I could know God in my own way. And so it shocked the hell out of me too, the hell out, literally.
Let me ask you this, and it'll be interesting for you to share your perception of it. Is it really us getting enlightened, or is it us just moving back to the enlightened being that we are?
Yeah, the truth of every single person is you are immortal consciousness. You're in an avatar, just like that movie. It's perfect example. Consciousness is moved into a different body. Every time you leave the body, you come back into another body if you're blessed enough. And until such time as you're on that level of evolution where you do want to just become, because that's the only reason we're here, is to become enlightened. The purpose of life is enlightenment for every single person. And what we do on the journey is what creates life. And even if you're not on the path to enlightenment, but you're on the path to improving your life, improving your consciousness, being more positive, at least you will be a person people will like to be around. It's so wonderful to Richard Branson. I had a long conversation with many years ago, 2.5 hour conversation. Anyway, and he was talking about his mother. He said, I said, you are such a philanthropist and you're so wonderful with people. I said, how did you get that? Because you seem a little bit shy as well. And he said, my mother would not let us kids be shy. She would say, don't think about yourself. Think about other people. What can you do to entertain them, to make them feel happy? And as soon as you do that, you will have people wanting to come to you and be a friend. You'll be successful in life. So if you're shy and you worry about what other people think of you, well, then she would just say, don't do that. Stop thinking about yourself and think about what you can do to someone else to make them happy. And that is such amazing advice, because people get too down rabbit holes about, oh, I've got to love and accept myself. No, love and accept other people. And then eventually that will happen for you, because we get too into ego. People do a lot of work on themselves and they're actually feeding their ego. They're not being taught by enlightenment, so they're not sure what they're doing. Oh, I love and accept myself just the way I am. No, you don't. You don't want to love and accept yourself just the way you are. You want to improve. You want to be on that circuit of change, not just the Groundhog Day. It's really, really vital that people understand how this all works, because it really is simple. And it's not until you get downloaded. And I mean, of course, a lot of what my teacher taught me, I wouldn't even understand. Even, you're in the moment. Most of your thoughts aren't your own. I didn't understand what that meant. How could I understand my thoughts aren't my own? Whose are they? And eventually, the more you meditate, the more you think about other people, and how you could improve other people's lives, your life becomes improved. You create more wealth, more happiness, more health within yourself. And that is important, because it is important to love your higher self and to love the divine presence within each person. You do not, no one has to, all this rubbish about you have to love everyone. You do not have to even like anyone. If someone has a personality that you think is nasty, a nasty piece of work, but you love the divine in them. That's the trick. That's the secret. You love the divine presence within them, even if you don't like that person. And that is what builds an awakening. And that's what blesses other people, when you acknowledge their divine diamond, their enlightenment.
So powerful. If everyone in the world could see the divine in each other, how things would change, and how amazing life would be on this planet, and how we could come together in those puzzle pieces of what we're here creating for the divine. It was so powerful. What would you tell people who are afraid of prayer, or believe prayer is something that they were taught about in the past? Because I know it's different in what most people were taught in the past and what you're talking about. What would you say to them?
Don't beg to God. God is within you. You don't beg. If you do this, God, well, then I'll give up pizza. I won't drink another beer, whatever it is. We don't come to prayer begging ever. We have that divine presence within us. One of the most powerful prayers that you can do is just visualize your loved ones happy, because whatever you think about becomes, and visualization is a great way to pray for people. You see them happy and laughing, maybe even having a conversation with you. Oh, that thing I was thinking about, Vince, that happened to, I was complaining about, it's gone now and my life is great and I just won the lottery and whatever. Oh, now I'm healed and I'm healthy. You see them. That's one form of prayer. You see them happy. And that is, you don't say, please release them from their illness. Please protect them wherever they travel, because that is duality. That's saying they're not protected. That's saying that they are ill. You say, I mean, when I pray for people that have been not healthy, I speak to the cells of their being. I visualize the cells of their being as happy, smiling, giggling, happy faces, high-fiving each other, and when I do these certain visualizations and prayers with my students, or free Zooms I do, people feel it. They start giggling. And so many people that have even been in stage 4 cancer have been healed very, very quickly, because they have been able to, well, I can do that. I guess I can just visualize happy little cells in my body, and I do these short little visualization audio programs for people to listen to. And we've just worked for 2 years on what's called the Magnet to Money app for iPhones. And that has like a prosperity angel sleep program. It has tons and tons of affirmations, Magnet to Money song, which has been downloaded multi-millions of times globally, notifications. It has an 8-minute morning meditation. If someone just wants to, it's sort of like a guided visualization with a meditation, so that someone gets to focus every morning on a different topic. They have to focus that day on positivity, on success, on caring for others. And so they've got something every day to focus on, which is, it's anyone can do it. And it's very, very simple. And they get light transmitted to them at the same time. So that's a pretty awesome, that's the thing I'm very, very thrilled about, because anyone can do it. You don't have to, if you don't want to meditate, you just listen. You just lie down and go to sleep and listen, and let that enter your consciousness as you're sleeping. So, yeah.
So amazing, the things that you're offering the world. And we appreciate you living your talents and gifts for sure. I think you were alluding to earlier that you might have a little gift for everybody on the podcast.
I've got a huge gift.
Tell us about it.
It's, if you go to Michele Blood, MicheleBlood.com/The Miracle You, you are going to receive the Magic of Affirmation Power book, one of my most famous manifesting visualizations, audio programs, the video series on the practice of meditation and how to do it. Some of my best-selling songs that I actually co-wrote with Bob Proctor, because we end up doing a lot of creating together. And wow, so much. My 6-week mysticism course, which will assist you. There's a video every week. You know, all of that's probably about $400 worth. There's more than that products. Turbocharged goal setting that Bob Proctor and I did together on Action Planner. For you to just experiment with these products, see for yourself what you are capable of. You will awaken bit by bit. The more you have knowledge, you'll become a strong swimmer in the sea of spirit instead of just hanging out, being scared to go in the water, putting your big toe in. Dive into the pool of your enlightenment, of your consciousness, and enjoy your life 1,000,000 times more than you ever could. Right here, right now. Do it for yourself.
Oh my goodness, Michele, that's amazing. What a gift. It is huge. Absolutely huge. As we wrap up our time together today, what's the one thing that you want everyone to take away from today?
Well, first of all, I'm going to do a quote from the Buddha. So, you know, the secret wasn't a secret. We are what we think. Everything we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. However, your thoughts aren't carrying the power because your diamond is too clogged. And back in the day of Buddha, there are only a couple of million people on the entire planet. So you didn't have that interference from so many people's thoughts in the atmosphere. But it doesn't matter where you are, what your culture is. I've worked in so many different countries and different cultures. You are the same as everyone else. You have the potential and the power. You have the divine within you. Everything is possible. You can make a decision right here, right now to change your life, and particularly really make a decision. Say, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And just put your toe in, then your foot into the water. It's warm. It's loving. Everything is possible for you. And the divine Mother Meera, beautiful enlightened teacher from India, she's still in the world. She says something that is a fact. God wants you to have everything that will bring you happiness. And that's a fact. So you don't have to beg to the divine. The divine will lovingly, your divine, bring into your experience, just like the FedEx guy, everything that will bring you happiness.
We are here to be happy, and God is with us on that journey. We just have to allow and open ourselves up to the possibilities of the amazing people that we are. Thank you so much, Michele, for being with us today. I love your energy. Thank you for what you're doing in the world. You're amazing. And now more than ever, I want to grow up to be like you.
Well, some people recently said to me they want to, when they're reincarnated, they want to be reincarnated as my cats. Because if you come into my place, everything here is like a toy and something to climb on for these 2 Siamese cats. It's crazy. And then I found out that the Buddhists in Tibet would only allow Siamese cats because they can see light.
Oh, how awesome. Well, thanks again for everything. On behalf of my wife, Mary, who's also my business partner, the entire team here at Imagine Miracles, we want to wish each and every one of you a miracle day.
You've completed this episode of The Miracle You, but we have plenty more to help you discover your own personal passion and purpose. Head over to themiracleyou.com for free resources to assist you on your journey, as well as register for our free webinar, Discover Your Miracle Life, 3 mind awakening steps toward your unique purpose, or apply for a one-on-one Your Life, Your Way breakthrough session and discover your next best step on your journey. All available exclusively on our website. That's themiracleyou.com. We look forward to sharing more experiences of passion, purpose, and life by design next time, right here on The Miracle You.